TTV, o The Three Virtues, es un canal que comparte noticias y comentarios sobre Lego y Bionicle. Fundado en el año 2010, TTV ha crecido de una forma sorprendentemente, no solo porque crean videos casi a diario, especialmente con su TTV Podcast, que fue lo que comenzó todo. Además, el grupo de TTV está formado por un grupo de gente muy interesante, muy graciosa y fenomenal. Tuve el honor de poder conocerlos durante New York Comic Con hace 2 años, cuando se fundó el canal del Muro de la Historia, y estoy feliz de poder volver a hablar con ellos hoy en esta entrevista y especial del Muro de la Historia a TTV. Hello, hello, hello. This is Pablo from El Muro de la Historia, and welcome, Bio fans, to another interview. Last time we interviewed Kevin Hinkle at Brick Fair, and this time we have another set of illustrious guests that I'm very, very excited to finally get to talk with. But I'm not going to spoil the surprise, although you've probably seen the title on top, so you know what the interview is about. But I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So if the guests would like to introduce themselves for the audience.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Messinek from the TTV podcast.
I'm LJ from the same place.
I'm Kahi, also from the same place.
I'm Venom from the same place, and unfortunately, I don't have my webcam on right now.
Why did you do that, Messo? Now we're like from the same place.
I know him pretty well.
He's the wild card.
Yep.
Okay, so as you heard, audience, then, today we are talking with TTV, or at least some of the members of TTV. I'd say one of the largest bustling Bionicle communities, and one that I'm very excited that exists, because it provides variety, it provides funness, and I got to meet them personally, so I can say firsthand that they are very, very, very cool people. I don't think that my words actually count for anything, but hey, I'm just throwing it out there. How are y'all doing tonight?
I'm touched.
Doing pretty well.
Awesome.
It was a very active day for me, so nice to end round it out with an interview, you know?
There we go. No rest for the wicked, as they say.
Exactly.
And we're pretty wicked. Yeah, bro.
Wow.
Well, in that case, let's get started. So, this channel was created initially for the Spanish-speaking Bionicle community. And although a good amount of them know about TTV, and I've actually seen on some of the forums exchanging ideas about making a TTV-style podcast, which is really cool to see the Spanish-speaking community band together like this. But y'all have grown from just a podcast to something much larger and really, really cool. So would y'all care to explain exactly what TTV is, what it does?
Sure, I think I'll go ahead and do that. TTV, we initially began around the year 2010, I believe, was when we officially launched the TTV podcast. And initially, we got our start on bdpower.com, and we were just a podcast that kind of covered Bionicle news as it happened and gave our insight and basically just thoughts on the theme as a whole on a weekly basis. But then, as you all know, Bionicle got canceled, and there was a lot of trouble in the Bionicle community in the years to come, so we ended up creating a YouTube channel to host our podcast, as well as all sorts of other creative endeavors that we opted to do. And eventually, we got a website, and we developed a plethora of other exciting shows to go alongside our podcast. So we began to kind of diversify our content in this new era of Bionicle and Lego. And we kind of embraced the YouTube community as well, I'd like to think. And we have a bunch of cool series like Bionicle Autopsy, LJ's recap reviews that review all the old Bionicle sets from Generation 1. And we basically just tried to strive to make entertaining content for the Bionicle and now, recently, the Lego fandom in general. That's pretty much what we do. Yeah. I'd like to think.
Pretty much the best answer we can give.
Right.
Solid. Good. And yeah, that's one of the things I think that has set the Bionicle community apart so much is the fact that, first off, a good amount of the interaction came from an online community, and then also that community has kind of lived after we thought that Bionicle got canceled. I know a lot of people thought that it was going to disappear, but it's kept going. So what do y'all think made the Bionicle community keep going like that, and what exactly do you think made so many people flock to TTV and consider it now one of its top websites for Lego news, content, and just really cool people who provide awesome content for them?
Well, I'll try to answer this, if that's okay with you guys. I think part of the thing that made Bionicle unique in the first place is that it was a new franchise that was launched right around the start of the internet, like becoming very well used, well spread. A lot of us, like, we were just in that age when by the time we were old enough to use the internet, everybody basically had it. This is right before YouTube is really a thing. This is like early 2001, 2003, that whole era where we're discovering Bionicle, and also discovering this place to go where we can talk with everybody about something that maybe a bit more niche, maybe not everybody at your school talks about. So as it went forward, like, I know I caught it. Yeah, you're right. I mispronounced that. As it went forward, once the Bionicle was canceled, but a lot of us had like kind of grown accustomed to being online and being in the community, and that stuck with a lot of people even afterwards. So like most of us, I would say, met around the latter years of Bionicle. I myself only joined BZP around 2009, and a lot of us, we really started becoming friends, ironically enough, after Bionicle had ended. So once that had happened, there was kind of like a drought when YouTube was around where nobody really did Bionicle stuff. Drought is how you say it. Come on.
How'd you say that word?
How'd you say it?
I don't know how well that's gonna translate.
All right, but what's the correct thing? Come on.
It's
Drought.
Did you say draw?
Yeah, like a drought.
So,
There's a
or
drought of
draught.
content.
I don't know.
Everyone I've never actually. Okay, you know what? Again, my explanation.
Would
later.
you say dibujo?
Anyhow.
Would that be the right way? Nah, forget it.
Thanks for saving it, Ben. Anyhow, yeah, that we did YouTube commentary and videos when no one else was really doing it, and by the time Bionicle came back, we had just solidified ourselves enough in the community as being the one people to do it. So it just came at a right place, right time thing for us, and
That's pretty much been the main history.
That is
Right
pretty much
place,
really it,
right
right.
time. That's what it boiled down to.
right.
Yeah. That's pretty.
So
yeah. That's awesome, though. It's one of the things that's been really cool to, as I said before, see the community grow, and I guess I can say this now in 2016, seeing that people who were fans years ago now spearheading their own hub where people can have their own community. That's really, really cool to see.
Right.
Awesome. Well, in that case, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, for the longest time we were not really sure where we wanted to go with TTV, and then eventually, I believe it was 2014. Was it when we decided to open the TTV message boards, and that was one of the greatest decisions we ever could have
Right.
made.
Oh yeah. From there, we stopped playing the video games and reporting on Halo and all this other stuff.
That was truly the time where, okay, we're opening a community now, a community site that's
Right.
a little bit different than managing a YouTube channel.
Right.
Because in the LEGO community, there's a lot of different fan sites and fan forums that operate. And ours was primarily going to be used as an organized place for our fans to come to discuss our content in a place with a little more structure than the YouTube comments section, which hasn't historically been the greatest place to have a discussion with people about things. But we also knew that when you open up a message board, that comes with it an entirely new set of, I suppose you could say, I'm blanking on the word I'm looking for, you're expected to run a site in a certain way. And we knew that creating a message board was going to open up a whole new area of difficulty for us, but we wanted to tackle it head on because we thought it was the best course of action to take our group. And I think that it's been up for roughly 2 years now, about a year and a half, and I'm very thankful for the current state of the
Right.
message board. It's really helped to branch us out a great deal.
Yeah.
And our community's awesome. I love that experience of running a Bionicle place where people can come to discuss the theme and everything they love about the community. It's a really great thing.
Yeah. And that's one of the cool things, definitely, about, definitely moving from just content creators and content providers to actually creating a community. But that also carries with it a certain responsibility. What has it been like for all of you to know, not just that there are views racking up in your videos, but that there are people constantly discussing these videos, discussing you, even creating fan art of you all? What does it mean to know that exists and that that's who you are now?
It's otherworldly.
Okay, I swear the fan art is probably my favorite part because everyone draws me super ripped, and I've got the Hawaiian shirt, and I'm just going
They do.
oh, that's a lot of fun. But it's kind of interesting though because we all met on BZ Power, but we all on BZ Power, everyone here right now except for Meso, we did comics. We were in the comics forum. So we already had that kind of small group of people that knew about us and they liked reading our material and so on and so forth.
Right.
So coming over to this, it's just a much, much larger scale, and it's really great.
It's quite humbling as well, I have to say.
Right.
The fact that someone would take even a small fraction of their time to make a mock or create a piece of artwork based on you is it's a great feeling, one that I really enjoy. It never gets old to see a piece of fan
definitely.
art.
And see people like wear our stuff too. That's like, to me, that's completely mind blowing. Like
It's
people
completely
tweet us photos of like they're wearing our shirts, and we're like, that's, and like, you know, it's just a thing where it's like, it's incredibly humbling. It makes no sense that people outside will see our stuff and come to us.
Oh yeah, dude, totally. Especially if you're like me and you drew one of those shirts. Like I just took a little bit of time to like make that doodle of like LJ in the chair. And I'm like, yeah, no, this could be a shirt. And then, boom, people are actually buying it, paying their own money to buy the shirt with the design on it and wear it. And I think that's really cool.
I remember
really
when
neat.
we were in New York Comic Con, Meso, me, you, and Var, and we had people. Like, this is, I think, 2014 as well, when Bionicle was coming back. And we had people come up to us, who were like, oh, hey, we're big fans of your channel. And we're like, oh, really? He's like, can we take a picture? Like, it was, their thing was, like, they wanted to take a picture of us. And, like, we're like, you know, we're thinking about, like, we should probably get a photo of, like, you know, some of the other guys that we've seen online. Should probably take a photo of, like, Rooster Teeth and stuff. And these people are like that for us. They're like, oh, that's TTV. We need to get a photo of them.
It's absolutely crazy.
It blew
Especially
our minds.
because at
We're
that
like,
point in time, we hadn't necessarily put our faces to our online usernames as well. So we didn't even know if people were going to recognize us going
right,
on there.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
You had to wear the TTV t-shirt that you custom made for yourself, and I didn't have one. So I wore this skull shirt with like a top hat in the hope that someone would make that connection. Like, okay, mess with the skull shirt. And
It was crazy. People would also come to us like, oh yeah, you know, I thought it was you guys. I recognize your voices. And we're like, really? You listen to us that much?
Wow.
It's
Wow.
pretty
That's
ridiculous.
crazy.
But
No, I mean,
incredibly
it's pretty obvious. The hardest to recognize out of everyone here, it's me. Nobody knows
exactly.
what I look like.
Right.
Like,
So
this
you
is
like
the
to use
first time
LJ
I've
as
shown
the
my
mascot.
face to anyone. The first time you've ever seen me. It's just,
It's just so confusing.
I know, right?
Oh,
It's
nah, it'll be
fun.
really easy. Just look for the kid that looks like a bobblehead.
That's
One Bionicle cosplay artist in the entire convention. That's him. There you go.
That's fantastic. I mean, it's wonderful to see that, you know, you've built that community around your persona, but knowing that it doesn't just hinge on that it goes beyond just your content, just what you put out there. The fact that, you know, as you've said, you've had people who go out there and buy your shirts, go out there and make art about you, go out there and just discuss Bionicle stuff on your website. The fact that it goes beyond you. Did you ever imagine that was going to happen when you started off as a Bionicle fan? Did you ever have
Nope.
the inkling of, oh, one day I'm going to provide this for the Bionicle community?
I think
Never in
the-
my
the-
wildest
I think what I
dreams
think is like, maybe if we're really lucky, we might be on the top 10 topics or the hot topics.
No,
for
no,
Easy
that
Power.
was,
Yeah,
Maybe
that was one of my
we'll be there.
goals. The height of where I thought I'd be, I'd get one mention on BZ Power's front page. And then I'd be like, I did it. I made it.
I remember
It was never even a consideration.
one day when we did an interview with I think Randy Elliott, the
Yes.
one of the comic artists for Bionicle. I remember being there for that. And then after, when we released that, it was on the front page and people watched it. I remember one time Var said that he came to everybody and called and he was like, guys, I checked the statistics for this last episode. We had 80 people watch that. And we were like, 80 people? Are you serious? 80 people watched this. And we were like, it was insane to us. We were like, I can't believe 80 people actually listened to that episode. And now it's like, you know, our videos get a couple of
The average
thousand views, and you're
podcast
like,
gets like 1,500 views. So
I'm still in shock too. That it really, that number still doesn't register with me. That like 1,000 people.
And to me,
At
like
least I
I've
do.
always put a lot more stock in the comments and the feedback more so than the statistics, because
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to put faces to the names. It's very easy for people to say, oh, you get 1,000 views on a YouTube video. That's a lot, but how much of that is really audience engagement? How many of those people are actually active in your community? And that's why I love reading the comments and I love checking the TTV message boards. And I love seeing that, yes, these people are real, they exist, they are fans of the same theme that we are,
Right.
and they're really invested in the things. That's where I get my biggest source of enjoyment.
Yeah, that level of engagement, it's like, it's a thing that really matters, honestly.
When you're a content creator for YouTube,
Right.
especially, it's very easy for you to get desensitized to the whole thing because you get caught up in all your subscriber count and your view count and all that
Yeah.
crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, it's the people and it's the community that really matters. So.
That's awesome. That's so sick to hear. Now, obviously, going a little bit more into the nitty gritty now of TTV. Y'all obviously put out a lot of content and a lot of individualized content, which is really cool because I do think that it fills different niches. I'm guessing that it ties into the specific things that y'all like about Bionicle and what you consider as your strengths as a fan. So would you care to go, each of you individually, and say what you do for TTV, what content you create, and how it ties into how you view Bionicle, how you view LEGO, and how you view yourself as a fan of that?
Interesting questions. I'll let one of you kick this off first.
Yeah. But LG or Ven, they have some of our most long-running series. They should.
Elder, you want to go
Good
first?
stuff.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, sure. All right, so on the channel, I do a lot of different things. I wear a lot of different hats out of
A
everyone
lot
on
of
the
different
channel.
masks.
Yeah, a lot of
There's
different
a whole
masks.
scene that to himself.
You wear a lot of different things, all right?
Oh yes,
One
yeah.
mask.
VAR undeniably does the most, but right after him, I kind of squeeze up. But no, on the channel,
okay, bud.
I do LJ's recap reviews, and I basically go over all of the Bionicle sets released in Generation 1. And right now, at the time of this recording, we're on Season 8, so 2008. We're going through those sets, and it's really fun. The series is about to end, but I think what that speaks to me is looking at all of the sets and getting to look at them and kind of recounting when it came out, how it came out, the story effect that they had. It's really kind of interesting to put that in retrospect and see this huge, this epic, this journey, this tale, and that got told to us, and it really made a lot of our childhoods really special because we get to look at these, we get to remember the times we had fun playing with them and building them and doing all this and just making a lot of connections through them. I think that's really nice, and it's a lot of fun.
It is quite a lot of fun.
And LJ has also a complete collection, I believe, right? Of all
Yes,
the Bionicle
actually,
sets.
just today, I finished unboxing all the sets. I have this kind of shelf that goes all around the living room, and they're all up there in a row, and
Wow.
it just looks phenomenal.
Wow.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And
Dream
you will
come
be
true.
showcasing that in a video at some point, right?
Right, the entire
Yep, at the
collection.
very
Oh,
end,
yeah.
they'll all be there.
Good stuff. I look forward to seeing that. Vin, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So for the channel, not only am I a personality on the podcast, but I also put out mock spotlights every week, which is basically a series where I review a different mock created by just some random person. I go out on the internet. Typically, I go onto message boards, and I'll just look for any sort of creation that just kind of looks really interesting to me. And I'll say, I think it deserves a little bit of attention. So I'll make a video just to take a good in-depth look at it and aspects such as its appearance, how it was built, what the builder might have thought, what ideas the builder might have put into it, that sort of thing. So I'm really getting into the mindset of the community when it comes to actually playing with the toys, aside from collecting the sets. Obviously, with LEGO, you want to build your own thing, so it's cool to see the sort of ideas that come up from our community, especially coming up since Bionicle is so, the parts are so specialized. You got pistons and robotic stuff all over the place, but then you see people make stuff like roses and flowers and all these other various kind of things, creatures, and it's really cool. I think it's this sort of I thought that making this sort of series would be not only important to give attention to the creative portion of the community, but it also kind of inspires me a little bit too, because I do a lot of mocking on a regular basis.
You're probably the most active mockist in the group, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's inspiring to me, and it also shows me how to improve too. like, sure, in the reviews, I'm like, I give little critiques to kind of show off how, I think this creation should have been improved in certain ways, but I'm also kind of learning how I can apply that advice too. So that's that. And I also make music for the channel. So that's another thing. Almost every video that you hear music on, that was because of me.
Go for it.
A lot less I can say about that. It's just dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Oh, that sounds cool. Put it up on the video.
That's one of my an underrated part of the Bionicle fandom that I feel like doesn't get as much attention as maybe it should. But music, I've heard some really good remixes of Bionicle music over the years.
Yeah.
The fans that do that, that's one of the things I really admire.
I remember Nusua especially. I always used to love his work back in the olden days.
Isn't he like studying under Hans Zimmer or something?
Not Hans Zimmer. I should know this. The guy that made the music for the Bionicle films.
Oh, Nathan First?
Oh,
There we
yep,
go.
Nathan First.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
that's amazing.
Yep.
Wow.
You're up next if you want.
All right. Me? Okay. Well, my main thing is that
You're hard-hitting series.
I know. the guys give me flack about it all the time. I don't have a series that I originally run. I focus a lot, like, I'm a business-minded person, so behind the scenes, I'm always like, I'm the person doing all, sending emails, striking us deals with different people, getting us to different places and that kind of thing, budgets and all that great stuff. My long-running series, Tax Season, is coming up for a renewal, so that'll be fun. That'll be fun. I think for me, but something that speaks out to me, me and Var were responsible for a lot of the initial design of the message boards and the website. And one of our members, Takuma Nuva, has really spearheaded the redesign of our website going forward. But the thing that really speaks to me is how varied the Bionicle community is now. Beforehand, like, we are kind of basically everyone that went like Bionicle went to like BZ Power. Basically, there wasn't like or the Lego message boards were like the other ancillary place to talk about it. And now, like, there's Tumblr, there's YouTube, there's all these other places where these very like engaged creative fans are doing stuff. And that was a thing we really sat down and decided to do when we were creating our own thing. Is that we wanted to include as much of the other fandom, the other places the fandom was going to as possible. So we made for example, our site is a Tumblr blog, and it functions the same as a normal site, but you can also reblog it, you can like it, you can share it with your friends, you can comment on it with Tumblr, and it really engages that fandom community that Tumblr has. And same thing when we did our boards, we were very conscientious of building like a new place, a new like site with different features, making it really feel different, and as kind of more as modern as we could take it, more material design, more that kind of thing. So just how Bionicle has grown now to like you can go anywhere and find Bionicle fans on the internet. There's Reddit, there's a subreddit for Bionicle too. That really is what I engage.
Back in the olden days, social media, the front of that, and the community wasn't nearly as prevalent as it is nowadays.
Definitely not.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things.
For basically, I think Facebook groups might be the longest extent of like a place that Bionicle was. That wasn't like BZ Power, the like message boards, and those weren't like anything back then.
For the longest time, me personally, the thing that I was most involved in the channel is something that is a bit of a recent thing. Well, for me, the thing that I was always drawn to about Bionicle, for many years I bought the sets. And I followed the story, I watched the movies and all that, but I was really into the news aspect of the community. Any small speck of news, however insignificant, I would typically like to discuss it in great detail because I personally just find that interesting. I've always been the kind of guy that likes to stay up on the current events within the community, be it community-focused things or things that are officially sourced from LEGO. So my primary role in the group is usually reporting on, discussing, and spearheading discussion of on the podcast Bionicle news. And for the longest time, I was the one that sourced out and reported on leaks, which as of recent, we have opted to no longer do, which is another discussion that we may get to here, or we may not. But for the longest time, that was pretty much what I liked to do. I like to stay as on the forefront of Bionicle news as one can possibly be, because of all the different LEGO themes, Bionicle's one of the most multifaceted. The only one that probably usurps it, I'd wager, is Ninjago, by sole virtue of actually having a consistent TV show. And there's a lot more to talk about with that. And coming soon as theatrical movie, which is going to be great. But for Bionicle, Bionicle's got a story. It's an original IP. It's had all sorts of media over the many different years, games and books and comics and all sorts of stuff. So with Bionicle, there's a lot to discuss, more so than other LEGO themes where, yes, okay, there may be a game on the website here and there for all the different system themes, but really the sets are the core of the experience. With Bionicle, it's usually the sets, yes, but also the story. So I've just always been drawn to that for Bionicle. It's a unique experience you can't really get from other LEGO themes, or rather you didn't used to be able to get it. Nowadays, there's a lot more themes that are kind of going alongside the Bionicle theme as that kind of story-driven original IP. So in regards to Ninjago, Nexo Legends of Chima, Hero Factory, May It Rest in Peace, all sorts of stuff like that.
I don't know how many people would agree with you on that, but
No, Hero Factory didn't have a lot of story to it. On the channel,
Hero Factory is sleeping in the grave right alongside Chima.
oh man.
Let us all
I
have a
forgot
moment of
Both
silence.
those things were things.
Let us all have a moment of silence and remembrance. Okay, now that moment's over. Also on the channel, it's a little ironic. The main series that I used to do was a Bionicle game playthroughs for the Maranui online game and Wainui online game, which was a bit ironic because I have the worst computer out of everyone here. So it's a little strange that I would be the one to do Let's Play. But,
Yes, it
I did them
is,
to
Meso.
associate me with them because I had never played the Maranui online game until like 2013. So for as much as I like to talk about how up to date I am on the forefront of Bionicle, I purposefully did not play that game for 13 years. So go figure.
Right.
But, it's pretty much me.
Yeah, I was gonna mention too. If Meso's always been there, like he's always been on top of the news thing. Like even before we did TTV, a lot of the
He's
other
always
people
been
would,
there.
yeah, they source Meso for a lot of stuff. But one of the things that really stood out to me, I don't remember. It's one of the things that made us like we have to get a website. Is the one time you found Minecraft. Image. The Minecraft images that like they weren't leaks. They were like they were there.
I was up one night at like 3 a.m.
I think looking for Bionicle stuff.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna do one more check on Google to see if I can find the finalized Bionicle pictures for I think whatever year that was. And I stumbled upon the Minecraft pictures by complete coincidence and made a 3 a.m. news video about it. And then it ended up blowing up and going on like not the video specifically, but the news of the Minecraft set ended up blowing up and going on. Was it Gizmodo or Kotaku?
It was Gizmo. It's the Lego sub thing of Gizmodo, but they linked another site. What was it? Brick Fanatics or
It was Brick Fan.
Brick Fan? Yeah, the Brick Fan. When it was kind of, I don't know how new it was at that point in time, but it was a thing where we're just like, oh man, because I mean, when Gizmodo links you get a ton of traffic. Like that's a thing. And we were like, man. I mean, to their credit, they included our video in their article, so it's not. But it was just a thing where it's like we found that news, and then like someone like they Gizmodo, they're like, oh yeah, news website, like a news site, the Brick Fan just reported on this, and we're like,
and the others were like, well, if only we had a website to point to instead of just a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And that was one of the instances that prompted the development of the website, because in this era, you can't. If you really want to establish yourselves and be taken seriously, you kind of need a website.
Yeah.
Some people just like, some sources just don't like YouTube videos, and I get that. I mean, like that's for news people. I get that it's all like you want to see your article and you just want to see it out. You don't have time to sit through like maybe a 15-minute video, a 5-minute video. Yeah.
Plus, it's good to do that kind of stuff like independently, so you're not relying on like somebody else to help you get your stuff up. Like say if YouTube went down for like a week, then that means, oh man, we can't like put up our news videos.
We can't reach our audience. Our audience has nowhere to reach us unless we have like our site. And so now if all that stuff happening on YouTube now, the copyright stuff, if we were to go down, if something were to happen to us, people know where to go find us. People know that we're still gonna be there. We'd find some other way to do it, but our audience isn't lost.
Mm-hmm. This is gonna sound really geeky when I say it, so I apologize in advance. But listening to, I know I'm a good crowd for that. Listening to you all describe not just what you do for the channel, but how it ties into you. It feels like you are the most perfect D&D party because everyone's covered.
You know, that's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
thing that we've talked about doing a D&D style role playing thing.
That would be
I know
amazing.
you can't tell. I'm blushing right now. You can't tell. And trust me, that no matter what you say here, I'm wearing a mask. You can say whatever you want. It can be geeky as you want it.
Right.
It's perfectly cool.
Yeah, you'll never know if he's judging you
Here
or
with
not.
his shelf full of Bionicle sets, wearing his like not cardboard mask, whatever that's made of. I don't even know.
Partially cardboard. The inside's cardboard.
My mistake.
Technicalities.
See, people say that Bionicle fans are boring. They're like, you're wrong. Do you see this? We all love each other so much.
Exactly.
The Bionicle community is a great community. Is a great community.
Yeah. So that does bring me to another point, though, that I did want to ask because, I mean, we've talked about a lot of the logistical aspects and a lot about you as a fan, but this is going to be a bit of a hardball, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Do it.
Favorite Bionicle and or TTV memory that you have?
How could you do this?
I know. I'm evil.
Man.
Home run.
My
You
favorite
said that was a
memory
bit of a
when I
hard
was
one.
telling the others Bionicle was canceled for months. They didn't believe me, and then it came out. And I uploaded it. No, I'm kidding. That wasn't my favorite.
You're like, I'm right.
Your favorite is when you told people Bionicle's coming back for months and they didn't believe you. There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. My favorite memory is hands down. It doesn't even. There's not even a question. My favorite memory is meeting Kai Yanvar in New York Comic Con. That was great. That was an experience, the likes of which will not be had again until hopefully later this year, where we're all going to meet each other at Brick Fair, Virginia.
You know that's going to be
yeah.
way better.
Yeah.
Oh, Zach, are you gonna be there?
Of course I'm going to be there, and now that I know that you're all going to be there, I am so excited.
Yeah, no, then it's guaranteed to be way better. So get ready to replace your best TTV memory.
That's why I was like, the likes of which cannot be.
I think all our best TV memories are going to be replaced then. I think like we're all going to come back and be like, our favorite memory is something that happened on this trip.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's just like it's a no-brainer for me. It's like I've known these guys since 2009. I came on the internet in 2008, and we talk for years, and we do TTV, but we also become really good friends, and we hang out and we make videos pretty much once a day, except for some days where we miss and like get lazy and slack off and miss deadlines.
Life
But
happens.
like we're really active with this channel, and we're also really active in our groups. So getting to meet them in person is an experience the likes of which is just crazy.
Yeah.
Because in this era of the internet, online friendships are very common. So actually meeting people for the first time is a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's me. I don't know about you guys. I kind of took that one.
Yeah. Ven, what about you?
Let's see. My greatest Bionicle memory, I think, would probably be just hearing that Bionicle was coming back in the first place. And
After you dreamt about it. Remember that?
yes,
Wait, what?
exactly. Like just the year before, I gotta tell you about this dream I had. So
Not tell us. Tell Greg Farsty on our interview about
Yeah,
his
you
dream.
told that to stinking
who
Greg,
had
man.
to know. But by the way, I mean, back then we didn't know, but he knew that Bionicle was coming back. And to this day, we've always wondered, like, what did he think exiting that interview when Ben's telling him his dream about going to the store and seeing Bionicle back?
yeah, seriously.
Sorry.
No, what's funny
Take
is
away from
about that dream, since like in that dream I saw myself in a Lego store playing around with new parts, and
Here we go.
you know who gets to do that in reality? Freaking these guys over at New York Comic Con. They got to go to a Lego store to celebrate Bionicle's return, just like in my dream. And you know what else they did like in my dream? They played with the new parts. So I was like, oh, okay. You know, I'm super happy for you guys. But no, that was my best Bionicle memory. Just hearing that it's coming back is like, it's bewildering. It's
The
crazy.
Skype call
It's
that
outrageous.
day where all the rumors started circulating was probably the craziest I'd ever seen.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah,
You,
Yeah,
like,
everyone was
that-
screaming.
We had to
That
go
was
around
a
and
crazy
confirm
day.
everything.
I remember that day. That and one other memory kind of tie. Because there's that. Because I was at work at the time. Var and I, we found that we heard about that initial image. And so we made a video about it. I went off to work. I come back. I joined the call. And everyone's screaming at me. Like, LJ, you're never going to believe it. It's real. it's an actual thing, and they're just absolutely going bananas.
I mean,
other
like
one,
that first day, man. Whew.
yeah,
Yeah,
The other memory that ties with it is when we were talking to Greg Farshty, and it was shortly.
Oh, I know what.
Yeah, I know.
I know where this is going.
Yep.
Okay,
So,
all right, buckle up,
shortly
everybody.
before
No, I'm
the
leaving.
interview-
Bye.
It's shortly before the interview, and we're all kind of talking, warming up, palling around. And I told Greg, I was like, hey, I've got all the books, like, right next to me in a bookshelf. And all the others were getting on my case about it. And Greg was like, nah, he's a man of good taste. And I just... I have that recorded. It's my favorite thing, because, he was my childhood author.
Whenever you feel down about yourself, you can boost your ego.
All right. Whenever
Exactly,
your ego isn't
yeah.
big enough, you can make it big again by playing that
Yeah.
audio clip back at you.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, man. I'm trying to think. All right. I'm gonna do pull an LJ. I'm gonna do two ones. One because like my first one is basically Messers again, because that really is one of my my favorite memories of being there. But also I think you're part of this too, Zaf. It's when we're at the Lego store in New York City, and it's like before the store has not been opened yet. We're before there, and we're hanging out with all these Bionicle fans, and the guy says, "Oh, by the way, anything you build here, you get to take home."
Yeah.
That was so great.
We looked at each other and we were like, "Is this happening? Is this happening to us
This
Right
just
now?
This is like."
Well, I'll tell
that's
you
like,
one thing: you weren't dreaming.
It felt like it for a second, but that was a moment that we're like, everything aside, we were like, we're all building, we're all asking for pieces. Have you seen this? Have you seen like this thing? I'm looking for like this gear. I'm looking for this part. And everybody there was like the friendliest and like it was one of the best things, one of the most united I've been a part of, where the Bionicle community all came together. And we had people from around the world. We had people from all the people from BZ Power there. There were people from like Russ Bionicle that were there. There were people from like all these German and Russian and English sites that were, and we were like at one moment we were all fans. That's all who we were. We were just fans, and we were getting to build toys that weren't going to come out yet. And this was the greatest moment that we've had.
It was one of those rare instances that we've been able to be a part of, where the online fandom was able to successfully just transplant itself right into real life.
Yeah, completely. Everybody was like so friendly at that moment, regardless of anything that happened before. We were all.
We were Bionicle fans at the core.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was great.
Right. And I think my other memory, honestly, had to be, and I don't know if it was ever recorded. I don't think it was. It's a more of like a just a thing that we really bonded over. One time, Var read to us this
Creepy pasta and drown. And I don't know what happened, but we were all on a call and it was really late and we were all scared. We were all scared together.
Kai,
We were all
you
scared
were scared. You were like,
together.
oh no.
Oh, it was creepy, man. Like that night, like it was thundering outside and everything, and I was on my computer. I was so young, I wasn't allowed to have my computer on after a certain time. So I was also hiding from like my parents as well, and I was kind of and we just read this creepypasta, and that was a moment I really enjoyed. Like for all of this, that was a fun little moment that happened when we were kids.
It was a pretty great moment, yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
You're up. You guys got a question after we took forever on that one.
Is that everyone for the favorite Bionicle TTV memories?
I think so.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, well, in that case, we're going to start wrapping this up. But before we do, I want to ask another question, or I guess a two-parter in that case. First one is, as I mentioned before, this channel obviously exists first and foremost for the Spanish-speaking Bionicle community. It's why the channel was created, because I wanted to provide an area for Bionicle Spanish-speaking fans to feel like, if nothing else, they had someone that they could turn to whenever they wanted to get news, commentary, a goofy face with a really bad mustache.
I like your mustache. I
Yeah.
think it's solid.
Oh, thank you. Do you hear that, parents? And the thing is, it's not the same as it was in 2007. I remember being part of another Spanish-speaking community that came apart, and all we had was a forum. There was no YouTube channel. There was no Facebook area. now fans have that at their disposal. Now fans can record a podcast, can make videos, can instantly make an update that they can post wherever, whenever. For a Spanish-speaking fan or an English-speaking fan who's watching this as well, who wants to provide something for the Bionicle community, who wants to put their name out there, who wants to create something, what is the advice that you have for them?
May I go first?
Go for it.
Do it because you want to do it.
Do it!
Don't look for instant gratification. Don't look just because you just want to get like super popular and super famous and like have your face on the wall like Taraga Duma and the Legends of Machinui. Do it because you like doing it, because you love doing it, because you're having fun. And if you're doing it with friends, do it with friends, because that's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to craft a lot of great memories, and that's going to last a long time. So do it because you want to do it, not because you want to do it so that you have the fame and the popularity. If you love doing it, that'll come naturally.
I think that's pretty much a good piece of advice. I wouldn't necessarily expand on that too much. If I were to add one thing to that, it would be perseverance as well. If you like doing it and you have fun doing it, then don't just give up out of nowhere. If you get to a point where you're like, this is not fun anymore, and you would like to quit, do so. But if you are still having fun, don't get discouraged by views or the amount of attention you get. Persevere. Just do it. To quote Shia LaBeouf. That honestly is the core of the advice, because there are many times in TTV's life where things were not going our way, things in people's individual lives were not necessarily accommodating their ability to contribute. There were many tumultuous things happening in the Bionicle community that were discouraging us, but we still had fun doing it. Nobody even listened to our podcast. There were long stretches. It was about a year where there was just nothing to do, nobody to get our audience out to, because we didn't have a website, and we just kept doing it. We just kept recording content. We kept doing things Bionicle related to keep us invested in the fandom. And then eventually, what do you know? Bionicle came back.
Yeah, man.
Right.
So only imagine what would have happened if we had disbanded like a year before that.
Right.
So perseverance. That's what I'll say.
It's a slow burn when you start. Like, when you do anything, it's a slow burn. Initially, getting yourself off the ground. But once you start building yourself, once you start doing it, you'd be surprised as how exponentially it grows. And I would kind of end on to that. Also, like, try to find what makes you unique. Like, whenever you have to deal with a whole bunch of other content, when you're, quote unquote competing, you're not really competing with them. But you also have to figure out what makes you unique. What's your thing?
That's where you're trying to stand out from the crowd.
Exactly. And if you are a Spanish-speaking Lego Bionicle fan, you do have like this level of uniqueness because, like Zach said, there's not a huge amount of Spanish-speaking sites. There's not like a whole bunch of channels to go through. Appealing to a certain audience is how we made our way. That's how we did stuff with Bionicle, because there weren't as many Bionicle channels. So just kind of find out what makes you unique and stick with that. And always be prepared to try out new things and do things that you see other people do, and apply your own little remix to it. But that's a huge part of how we got to be where we are today.
Yeah. No, don't let your dreams be dreams.
Yes.
Because I know I did. Your dreams came true, just not for you. Just for me. That's why it doesn't count.
That's fantastic. And now here's the second part of that question. Obviously, the first part was obviously geared more towards content, doing what you love, putting things out there. Let's go a little bit broader. Any message that you want to leave the community, be it the Spanish-speaking community, your own fans, anyone who's stumbling upon this video because they accidentally pressed the wrong thumbnail on YouTube?
I'll be as blunt as possible and just say thank you to all of you. Thank you to our fans. Thank you to the Bionicle community. Thank you to Lego for bringing it back, if someone ever stumbles upon this. You guys, for all of our faults and failings, the Bionicle community is unique. It's a place like very few other fandoms I've been a part of. Thank you for bothering to give us any of your time over the years. And thank you to all of you for putting your own voice and your unique spin on the community. And and for interacting with it in your own way. Because I'm talking to you. You help make it.
To me?
Great, yes, to you.
Yes, you.
And to you and to you. To everyone. That's what I'll say.
Yep.
I can't top that.
You know
wait,
how?
no, Lego
I can. I can.
Wow.
So thank you. And if you want to show thanks to us too, you could do so by going to Audible. No, I'm just kidding.
I'd like to thank the
Wow,
Academy.
Ben.
This video is sponsored by.
Right. I think.
But really,
oh.
yeah.
No.
Go ahead, Guy.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Don't be afraid to do your be creative with stuff. This generation, we have a really unique place in time. Like, we couldn't have done this 20 years ago. If we were born 20 years ago, no way we could have really done this. We're in a generation where we live in a remix culture where people that are creative can actually do creative things. They can actually get out there. They can actually make artwork and have a ton of people look at it. They can record a stupid podcast and have a bunch of people listen to it. You know, it's a thing where if you're passionate about something, you can connect with other people that are passionate about it, and you can make your thing known. You can even make a career out of it. And that's a thing that was not available to anybody else in any point in history up until now. Beforehand, if we would have to get a TV show. We'd have to sign with somebody, I guess. And not that many people would be interested, who are watching TV would be interested in a Bionicle TV show. And just people talking about sets. I mean, imagine that, a late night show. You know, it's just one of those things where we're able to connect now. We're able to do these many things because of the internet. And if you're listening to us, if you're good at art, if you're good at music, if you're good at just video editing, anything that you're really good at, right now is the best time to start doing that on the internet. And you should really take advantage of this because, I mean, can you imagine being this lucky to live right now and to do this? It's pretty great.
Yeah.
The internet, for all its faults and failings, as I say earlier, it's a great place. It's a great tool. It's a great resource.
Mm-hmm. And if you like Lego, you're a creative person. You know, that's one of the things that really comes up. You like doing things on your own, taking things that other people made and making them your own thing. So definitely go out and do that.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear all of this. I'm glad to have been able to talk with all of you, and I'm glad that TTV.
I'm glad I
You are
exist.
just the kindest person.
I'm glad I exist as well. It's quite good to not be dead.
Hey, LJ, did you have something to say?
No, I was just saying, Zach, you're just so nice. You're just so nice.
You're nice today.
LJ's hung out with us, so he's not used to nice people.
Yeah,
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Right.
Jerks to each other.
Well, in that case, I think that about wraps it up. But obviously not for us, because I will be able to see you all at Break for Virginia. I am so excited now that I know that.
Yeah, we should hang out.
Oh.
We should take a long walk somewhere, just for old times'
Oh, for
sake.
sure. A long walk on
You
the
know?
beach.
Right, we should just go I don't know if there's a beach nearby, but we'll do it.
Virginia Beach? I
We'll
don't know.
we'll make a
Either
beach
a long
so we
walk
can
to the
walk
beach
there.
or a long walk to an Applebee's or something,
Right.
because I think we
can
want to
walk
go
to the
eat
Lego
somewhere.
store or something.
Date to Applebee's. Yes. Well. Thank you all so much to all of y'all from TTV. This is a wonderful talk, and I'm so glad to have been able to sit down with you. To any of you watching this video right now, I hope you all saw the wonders of TTV if you didn't know about them before. So please go subscribe to their YouTube channel, follow them on their website, Twitter as well. You all have a TTV account and individual accounts as well. Any other places where they can find you?
Vessel.com/the TTV channel. We access kind of deal going on from there. So if you're interested in getting any of our videos ahead of time, you can go there. That's again vessel.com/the TTV channel.
Awesome. Well, in that case, thank you again so much, TTV. Thank you also, BioFans, for tuning into this special interview. Again, if you liked our content as well here, remember to subscribe to Muro de la Historia. We will be posting more content later on, of course. And this was Pablo from El Muro de la Historia. Thank you so much for joining us.
See you guys.
See you guys. Can I just say that's really cool that there's a Spanish-speaking Bionicle community? Like, man,
I know, man.
it's nice to meet. Mucho gusto. Nice to meet you guys. Like, okay. Anyway,
Gracias a
bye.
ustedes también.
I'm so glad you speak Spanish, man.
I
don't
love
speak
this.
Chinese, but you speak Spanish. It's great.
It's okay. That's what Break for Virginia will be for. We'll practice some phrases and stuff. It'll be good.
Yeah, we'll do it.
All right. Thank you so much. See you later, Bio fans. Bye-bye.